We're back.
Okay, thank goodness.
Yes.
We set, I think we do this every week. We forget
Yeah.
to set the Pixelbook that's being used for the Facebook Live as the priority device until a certain point. Like, until it actually almost loses connection, essentially.
Yeah. So, again, we're drinking Tobin James
Oh, yeah.
Red.
Yes.
It's kind of like their value wine, but for the price, it hits extremely high quality.
This is
Like,
the one.
you're not going to get a better value than this, honestly. This one,
Right.
cash flow, for the price, you just cannot.
Cash flow is
better than this.
a better wine, but
It's only a
this
couple
is
bucks more.
cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes. But if you're buying a whole case,
Mhm.
like we may or may not do, we do.
There we go.
Then this is the one that you want to get.
Yep.
So Tobin James Red, it's a good one. Tonight we are talking about, we are having a Yosemite themed EDU. So we are not too far from Yosemite here in the Central Valley.
Get about an hour and a half from here.
And so we have good memories from Yosemite.
Mhm.
We actually went to Yosemite with the kids
Yes, a couple years ago.
two,
It was
3.
2.5 years ago.
2.5 years
Yeah.
ago, and had a good time with them. So yeah, Yosemite, and our favorite brewery actually names their most famous, I would argue, beers.
Well, it's after things in the Sierra. There's only one.
All of them are
named
based
after-
in the Sierra.
There's
Yeah,
only
I guess
one
you're
named
right.
after Yosemite.
No, Firefall.
Okay, well, there's Firefall and there's Half Dome.
Yeah, the others are
Mount
like
Whitney and
those aren't actually. Yeah, that's a good
General
point.
Sherman. Sherman's from my favorite national park, the Giant Sequoias.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I like the Firefall Red, and that's the Taiga Sequoia beer that I like. But Firefall Red was named because in Yosemite, I don't know how many years ago. I think I read it stopped 1969. No, that was when the tree fell where you could drive through.
Yeah.
Do you know when they started the Firefall?
I've
So they used to have what's called a Firefall, and so they would take these like red embers, I think, and they would throw them over the side of the mountain to make it look like a red firefall at night. I do not think it was a very responsible thing as far as ecology goes, so they stopped. But it's still an interesting piece of history. So anyway, question 1 of our Yosemite-themed EDU chat is that Yosemite houses diverse wildlife. What unique needs exist in your school or classroom, and how do you create an environment to support them all? So Yosemite houses many different animals with different needs, and our classrooms are similar with our students all being in one location. So how do you support them?
Hey, Micah Shippey joined.
He did.
Book snapping the crap out of his
It's a
book.
good one. It's a good book.
Yep.
And Micah
That's what I
Shippey
do.
also donated a book for Tech Rodeo.
That's right.
So we're going to do...
I wonder if that's the one that I've been reading, the copy. I know we have a couple.
No. I kept that one separate.
Okay.
So we are going to...
Wasn't that a package? I opened it.
Yeah, you did. I was going to leave it in there, but
Okay.
you opened it. But that's okay.
I don't know what's that.
So we are going to... The books that were donated, we're going to do a social media challenge. And so those that post the most stuff, I guess, on social media, maybe we'll have like best tweet, maybe we'll have best picture, most inspiring, I don't know, something. Anyway, those are going to be the winners of the books that were so graciously donated. So I'm excited about that. So, and all those authors that have donated books will get a shout out at the welcome. So it'll be good stuff. Question 2 already dropped. You can tell it is late October.
Yeah, people are just tired.
Everyone's tired.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Speaking of question 1, though, we'll go back to question 1. The question was about the needs in the classroom. So Katie McNamara, our official CV Tech Talk librarian, says that teaching high school or any grade, you have all sorts of critters, because we were talking about wildlife, animals, with all types of needs. So she wants all to know that she believes in them and cares about them, even though they are somewhat obnoxious at times. So I was at a middle school today, and sometimes you forget how, I was not very.
You were a Hellraiser?
I wouldn't call myself a Hellraiser. I was more of I was sarcastic and.
You were sarcastic?
Very sarcastic. But yeah, but like.
So you're not anymore.
Yeah, I still am. But anyway, But yeah, it's an interesting time period being a middle schooler. So is Ariel buying something with her money?
What she wants for Halloween.
Oh.
So my mom got her Ashley's one, so I said I'd get this for her.
Oh.
So Ariel, I'm gonna show you a trick. Here, come here. Ariel's gonna learn how to copy and paste in Chrome.
Oh, nice.
So I want you to
on a Chromebook,
watch.
you mean? Absolutely.
You know how to do that, right? How to highlight? Highlight the
So Scott Nunes is also here with us tonight on the Twitters, and he was here on Facebook as well. And his favorite national park is also Yosemite, like mine. And he likes Vernal Falls.
And then push the letter C.
Oh, Ariel's learning Control C, Control V.
Open a new tab now.
Nice.
What?
Open a new tab.
Like whatever.
Open a new tab.
She just learned what a new tab is, guys.
Yeah, go to Hangouts.
She already knew what Hangouts was.
Yes, so
that was easy.
Find Daddy on your list when it pops
Pretty
up.
cool.
So,
We are a Google-centric
Daddy.
family.
Okay. Down there, now push Control. Hold
All
on
right,
Control.
so
And push V. Okay, now hit Enter.
we're on question 2.
Oh, you just text me the link. Now I got it.
Okay.
Good job. Thank you. I told her to come show me what she wanted to get the link to get her costumes.
Ariel, say hi.
Hi.
And tell everyone what you just learned to do on your Chromebook.
I just want to
Copy and paste.
copy and paste.
Yep.
And you learned what a tab is.
Yeah.
What's a tab?
Tab is where it's where you at.
Yep. That's where you're at on the internet. That's right. She knows.
Okay,
Anyways.
cool. All right, so
question 2 dropped and it says Dr. Bunnell, who named Yosemite, wrote about his observations of the location. How do you document the student learning you observe?
so this is from the teacher perspective about documenting that learning, right? As opposed to the student perspective. I was talking with a teacher today whose students were doing some amazing things in a STEM lab. But the teacher was saying, because they were all doing like different projects and they were all kind of doing more or less independent work, grappling with a partner to, do these different things, like on a rotation type basis. But the problem was the teacher said that it was, she would get checks like they would give her evidence of what they're learning, but there wasn't like a reflective piece. So I told her about Blogger. So she's really excited to have the kids create a blog so that there can be a reflection at the end of the year for open house, for board meetings, for things like that, so that everyone knows what's going on. Can you turn that down, please, Ariel? Thank you.
All right. So what I like to do, documenting, being a kind of historian, I curate. I take lots of pictures of student work and students working. And I have a variety of Google Photos albums where I keep these for future reference. But then I'm also sharing things on social media. So if you're on now, then you know that I do that a lot. But I get so many positive responses from people on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And when people are asking questions, hey, how are you doing that? I want to do that with my kids. I bring it back to my kids. I go, hey, guess what? So-and-so from somewhere across the world wants to just saw what you were doing, and they kind of want to be like you now. And like just to seeing that look of empowerment, like, oh, what I'm doing is, it's not just work. That work is not just for me or the teacher. Other people are learning from it. So that's just loving to see their face.
Yeah.
And I tell them that someone commented from far away. It's great. It's a great feeling to see that look on their face.
So similarly, I take pictures as well, but I'll take digital. I'll take notes, like typed notes in Google Keep.
Mm-hmm.
So both. I use both for my own reference, and it's really helpful to have those pictures, because then I go back and I use them oftentimes like in presentations to show other teachers, to say, hey, this was actually used in a classroom. This is what I saw. This is how this can be used in a first grade classroom, a third grade classroom, a high school classroom, et cetera. So that's kind of nice. I need to do a Twitter save right here for Katie McNamara.
No, Katie, come on.
Well, it's October, babe. It's late October, and so
Katie's a pro.
she put CB Tech Talk.
Oh.
It's okay. She must have been thinking of
She's probably
Chromebooks.
drinking wine too.
Right. So her answer to question 2 about documenting student learning that you observe is engagement and personal ownership, she says, are huge. So she's constantly collecting field
I
research.
think she deleted it because of the tweets on the
Oh, shoot. Okay. She'll probably fix it.
Yeah.
But she talks about constantly collecting field research, which sounds like a part of our book. Where we're talking about action research in the field of how happy they are with what they're doing. So it could be pictures or recording direct quotes. Love that. Love it. Good stuff. Oh, now she put it on there. Now it's up. Now it's up. So question 3 just dropped. Question 3 says that in the 1850s, and Adam, you actually already started answering this question. In the 1850s, Yosemite received publicity from writings and drawings. So how do you showcase student work to the world to give them that publicity?
Okay. Well, I just kind of answered that.
You did. So you get to answer it again.
Yeah. It's copy and paste.
Or you could answer it from someone else's perspective. Like maybe there's a teacher you know that does something different.
Yeah, I do say that with teachers, what they do.
So, like I know teachers that, they create digital portfolios on Seesaw and Class Dojo, right? And then I was with I was at a district today where I took pictures and tagged their Twitter handle in showcasing what their students were doing. And I made sure to tell the assistant superintendent, Ms. Laura Voschel, who's also a CV Tech Talk native and good friend of ours.
That's right.
She's on her way to San Jose right now. So she's always traveling. She's an amazing, busy, incredibly knowledgeable person. And I'm happy for Erlenmeyer. They are blessed to have her. So, and they're doing some good stuff out there. Laura helps them get this STEM lab, this career ready college and career STEM lab. And it's really cool to see the kids. What's cool is they are grappling with and trying things that are really hard for them. And they're engaged in it because it's exciting. So they there's a kid today that was at they get to choose their top stations there's top labs they want to go to, and they do that module for a few weeks. So one student tells me, hey, did you know how to give a dog CPR? Because he's at the vet station. And I was like, well, no, I don't know how to give a dog CPR. So he's telling me, right? And then another kid, they actually were taking their peers' blood pressure, like for real. Like learning how to do this and what it means. So I was asking, did everybody you test have healthy blood pressure? Yes, except Mr. So-and-so. I said, oh, what's wrong with Mr. So-and-so? Oh, I think he might've been nervous or whatever. But it was really interesting that these kids they were super engaged. They were working at things on their own, and they were, there's like a forensic station. There's like all sorts of stuff. So it was really exciting to see them do that, especially because a lot of them are like, what would be considered below grade level readers. And yet, because they were so interested in the tasks, they figured it out. Like they used the dictionary. They tried to make sure that they understood what was going on. So that, folks, is why keeping kids within their level doesn't work, because these kids that are reading, some of them at a 3rd grade level in middle school, and are reading really difficult text with vocabulary that's very hard, they're so interested in getting this, in accomplishing this, they're reading it. They're figuring it out.
Yep.
They're asking their friends, they're asking the teacher, I don't understand this, I'm trying to figure it out, what can I do? A lot of them though, they don't even ask the teacher. They just go and they just go and Google it or look up the definition or whatever. I told the teacher to get the Google Dictionary extension so that it's more easy for them to access that information. So, and then they don't have any newcomers that are literate, but I said if she gets any, to make sure that they get the Google Translate extension as well. So, because what I don't like is when not all students have access to that experience, because this is like a hands-on experience, but they say that these STEM labs, but the argument is, well, they have to be reading at least at a 3rd grade level or they can't access and follow the directions. And I'm like, no. And Laura Voschel was saying the same thing. She's like, I keep telling them, it's called text to speech. No, we are going to make this work. I don't care if I have to buy the read and write extension. We're going to let every kid have access to this, not just those that are at a certain reading level.
Yeah, our school
That's not fair.
doesn't want to buy the read and write extension, but that's where
It's expensive.
Yeah, but I tell teachers,
It's worth it.
I mean, you can just there's a way around it. It requires a little bit of work, but you can accomplish the same thing with you just doing the screencast and read alouds, which today was a huge success. What's up, Carlos? You got my message. Carlos, come on camera. Carlos.
You have to invite?
Yeah, I'm going to invite him right now.
Oh, invite
I'm
friends.
going to invite Carlos.
We keep trying that. And I think, has anyone joined in? I think Laura Voschel did once, speaking of.
Okay, Carlos, that's not your sweater. Okay, whatever sweater you stole from Rojas, I don't know what happened to it. Okay, I have my own. I'm an actual real FPU soccer player who earned that sweatshirt. I mean, if you want to come admire it, you're free to come over to my house and admire it whenever you like. Come on, Carlos, why don't you come on camera? It'll be fun. We need the perspective of a parent. Carlos has kids in school.
All right. We do too, but it's a little different because we're educators. So we have a different perspective, and we realize that. So I welcome other perspectives as well, because I think that's really interesting.
Oh, there comes Andrina.
Yep. All right. So question 4 should be dropping in less than a minute.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what was your day like? Any edu wins?
Yeah, I've been co-teaching all week with that 7th grade ELA teacher, so they're pretty much letting me take over the history class.
Okay, cool.
So they're going over medieval Europe right now, talking about farming and town life. Okay. And so they have this chapter she's like, they struggle to read it. So what can we do to get them to read? So I did a simple screencast to read aloud. So the whole chapter is way too long. So I picked and chose what's going to best
the most important.
Okay. It was about 6 or 7 slides.
Okay.
I just screenshots of text. And then I woke up this morning at 5:30 in the morning and read it. I recorded myself, dropped it onto YouTube. She sent her the link. She put it in Classroom. And then what we did, those same slides, what I did, we printed them out. Okay, because they can't mark the physical textbook. So I said, well, we'll just print out, 4 pages front and back. No big deal. So she made the copies. And we had some criteria for them to go back, and after each slide they had to stop, reflect, and mark a text based on prompts that I gave them. So highlight evidence of this, circle evidence of that, draw underline this part. So
within slides or on the
on paper. So we gave them a physical copy.
Yeah.
And she was like, wow, she never seen her, the whole class was just locked in. And I implemented feedback tokens for her, and she loved that, and that got her to really give all the kids a lot of clarification. And she's like, man, they seem to comprehend it so much more because we gave them in small chunks.
Yes,
so I'll read the whole 5-6 pages, little pieces at a time.
Then you build the stamina slowly.
Yeah, you give them the feedback ongoing. So by the time they're done, they've gotten feedback on everything. They didn't move on until they got it right, and she loved it. And we're going to continue with that tomorrow. And what we're going to do, we're going to move on to where they're going to actually take what they've learned from each one and do. I haven't decided yet. We're either going to do maybe I think we're going to give them an option. They can do a Flipgrid reflection, or they can do a sketch note. We haven't decided how they're going to kind of take those notes and extend it. So it was a good win. I did a similar activity today with my Sedai U.S. history kids, and it's relatively new, but I tweaked it a little bit. But they're getting better at it, and their work is a lot higher quality.
That's good. So that actually is answering in part question 4.
Okay.
Because question 4 says stagecoach roads in the 1870s increased access to Yosemite. What tech or non-tech tools do you use to increase accessibility? So what you're doing is you are increasing accessibility by reading aloud the content to them and then having them mark the text, which when you're teaching history and not reading is totally fine. Something that frustrates me is when you have, and this goes against everything I learned about assessment forever, and from anyone that was decent, But if you are giving students a history test that they have to read and they're struggling readers, or they have to write an essay and they're struggling writers, how do you know if they did or didn't, if they don't know the concepts or if they don't know how to read or write? You know what I'm saying? So I think it's really important that we increase accessibility. And it's similar to, like I was saying about this STEM experience, where you just got to give kids the ability to access the content. I thought this was interesting too. That, you know, students now, they have access to DOK 1 level information like that.
Yep.
They have a phone. They look at their phone and they ask, you know, if we're still asking for kids to recall dates or procedures for a math problem, what are we doing? That's ridiculous.
Yep.
So I think that the access part needs to be increasing access to those actual like big concepts and big ideas.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, you can use those tools like, okay, the DOK 1 stuff, we don't have to get that done first. Like they can look that up.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to read that vocabulary word, but I really want to do that STEM lab. Guess what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah.
I have a Chromebook in front of me. I can look up the word. It can read it to me. I can use a Google Dictionary extension. Like,
Right.
It's pretty clear to me, like, but I don't know, kind of interesting. Even things like with the younger kids, voice to text,
Yep.
right? Or in Flipgrid, how they have immersive reader now.
Yeah.
I love that, because immersive reader will read aloud the prompt to them if they're not yet able to read it. The other cool feature that I love is, so that's in Flipgrid. Oh, I know what I was gonna say, Edpuzzle. So I showed some teachers Edpuzzle right now, which is also great for young kids because you can put audio notes, so you don't have to have questions that need to be read.
Yeah.
So that's all about accessibility right there.
Oh yeah.
All those things. So whether it's, you know, you're talking about screencasting, we were talking about Read, Write, and Chrome.
Mm-hmm.
A bit ago, we were talking about the Google Dictionary extension, Google Translate extension, immersive reader. There's so many different ways to do this.
Using the screencasting to enhance book snaps, because even though that, you know, the book snaps are just small snippets of text,
Right.
you know, kids can't.
They're close reading. It's good.
Yeah. So what I do, I'll throw a link on the slide. That's another video of me reading it to them. So they just have to listen to it. I think what I'm going to eventually do is use the audio function in slides now, so they just play it that way. I haven't, you know, taken the time to figure that. I mean, I know how to do it, but I haven't taken the time to do it though. But it's a lot of ways to do it. I mean, I've been on a screencasting binge lately because literacy is such a huge issue in my district. Anything where I can get them access to content, like a lot of my kids, they just weren't read to. And I was asking kids today, listen, how many of you have ever come across? They say read this chapter, and you get through it. You're like, I don't remember.
Don't understand a thing, right?
Like, and I go, be honest. And they all raise their hand.
Yep.
But how many of you, when you get to a word that you can't sound out or pronounce, you just kind of give up? And they all raise their hand. I go, well, now you have no excuse about not being able to sound it out, pronounce it, because I'm doing it for you. You need to listen.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're gonna follow along,
But here's the good thing.
Thanks to Ryan O'Donnell and Brian Briggs on the Check Us Out podcast, who gave me a shout out from my big giant cursor.
Oh,
the story was that Ryan, when we were at the KCI event in Davis back in June, he just saw my computer screen. He's like, "Why is your cursor so big?" I go, "When I'm screencasting, kids can follow along when I'm tracking." And they're like, "Oh my God, that's like never thought of that." But the kids, they follow my big giant cursor, and it helps them still keep up. So for the kids who can read, don't need it, they can just skip right to it and read it. They can pause it and read it themselves. For the kids who need it, you think about it. Because it's recorded, this is the Netflix generation.
Yeah.
All their entertainment is on demand.
Right.
So honestly, our teaching should be on demand. They should be able to pause and rewind when they want.
That's why Edpuzzle's good.
Yeah,
or like you're saying, screencasting,
yeah,
same thing.
Both work.
Same thing.
So like mine's kind of like a blended version of Edpuzzle. I'm not putting any questions in there, but they're on the video, but then they have to go back to a physical text. I want to give them both that tech and non-tech.
Yeah.
Because it works both sides of the brain, and they're
I like what you're doing. And I like that you are making videos and reading to them and having the physical text. And I'm working with a district middle school right now where I want to lead to that, but I feel like it'd be too much for them right now.
Yeah.
So for now, we're doing Edpuzzle. We're doing like things that are we're doing Flipgrid. Like we're getting the kids talking and just getting them engaged, because the students need to be doing more work and the teachers doing less talking. But I eventually do want to get them to that, because they have a lot of ELs and low readers. I shouldn't say low, struggling readers. The opportunity for growth. And so making sure they have access to that content is key. So today we worked on increasing accessibility in the ways that they express their knowledge by using Flipgrid and illustrations. But eventually I want to get to something similar to what you're doing, Adam. But, this is my first year working with this district. They haven't had a tech coach for 3 years.
I mean,
and so you got to build to it.
So I know this.
Right.
It comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of
This is my second time with these teachers ever.
I have one teacher who's really on board with it. So she's my
awesome.
guinea pig right now. So I spent a whole week with her. She's excited to start doing it. But I mean, this is not like an edgy protocol that's real quick.
Exactly.
Prep. This requires a little bit of prep.
It's worth it.
But it's worth it in the long run. And
Agreed.
Think of it this way: like you don't, if you teach multiple periods of classes, you don't have to read it out loud 4 or 5 times a day.
Yep.
You teach it right the first time. The beauty of Screen Guys is you teach something right the first time.
Okay, here's what also is good about that from a literacy perspective. Here is the problem. These kids, this is what a lot of teachers do. They will dumb down the reading. And so instead of Newsella, I did this myself when I taught 6th grade. I gave them leveled text. Instead of saying, what you're doing is you're reading it to them, which read alouds are huge, and then they're getting that vocabulary. But if kids are just getting this dumbed down text all the time, they never get the vocabulary. They get even to the state assessments and they're way behind. And so that divide gets bigger, and that achievement gap, so they say, as they call it, gets bigger and bigger and bigger, because we've got 6th graders reading the Cat in the Hat level books and being kept out of classrooms, or they're getting this like low level content. So for you, because that's what I'm struggling with at the moment, which we're going to have to get to, is that they're giving them like elementary level, like 3rd grade level readings about 8th grade level content. As a history teacher, are you going to get what you need to get out of it content wise from a 3rd grade reading level? No. And so you've got to find a way to increase the accessibility.
That are lower level, but when it comes to, most time I'm giving them their actual text. I'll take screenshots of the actual textbook.
Yes.
It's
even though they can't read it, so to speak.
This is the scaffold they need. We're scaffolding up for them.
Yes, you scaffold up, you don't dumb down. And I'm getting really frustrated with the dumbing down, because it increases that gap. And teachers don't do it because they do it because they think they're doing what's best for the kids. And I understand that. And like I said, I did it myself as a 6th grade teacher for a time. And then I thought, this is not helping my students.
It's
not helping.
This is much better than your popcorn read.
Oh, that is so bad. So bad. And it's research based. It's awful. Awful. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Your standard read aloud.
Don't do that.
No, even if it's systematic, it's not popcorn, but it's systematic, and each person does it that way out loud. Just think of the anxiety the kids have.
It's awful. Awful.
And a lot of kids they won't pay attention until they're kind of maybe half-assed paying attention, tracking until and then they're not processing it until they get to their part. Okay, now it's not my turn to all they're doing is decoding. So with this, with what I'm attempting to do, it's they have control over it. I'm thinking like this is a Netflix generator. They feel like they have control over their content the same way they have over their entertainment.
Here's the other problem with popcorn reading. You are focusing on fluency instead of comprehension, when your activity for that moment should be about comprehension. When it's usually done, you're not focusing on fluency. So why would you do popcorn reading, which focuses on reading aloud? And the other thing is, speed is not necessarily, that speed and comprehension are not the same. So I had a 6th grader who was was proficient on the ELA state exam. Okay, grade level, proficient. Because she read slowly and kind of stumbled over words, she was put on that one assessment. Somebody, I won't say who, somebody who was somebody decided that student needed to be put in a reading group with first grade readers.
Yeah.
And I said, no. And I stood up for that kid, and that person did not like that. One of my first.
So question 5 dropped.
Mhm.
We're almost to question 6 too, but we're having a good time. So question 5 dropped, and it says, Yosemite has a range of outdoor available activities. How do you incorporate student choice into your classroom?
And this is all very UDL based, which is based on neuroscience, by the way.
Yes.
It's important to give kids choice. I like to say that we are tough on content, but easy on delivery. So meaning the way that content is delivered to students, whether I have the choice to watch a video and or read a blog and or listen to an audio book and or analyze an art piece from the time period or whatever it may be. That's where it's more there's an ease of delivery. And then also, but you're tough on the content. Like that's what you need kids to know. And then as far as ease of delivery of how the students demonstrate their learning. So as long as those students are demonstrating their learning of that content and you're staying tough on that, like these are the things you need to know and show me, I don't care how you do it. You can make a video. You can do an infographic. You can, as long as you are proving to me that you understand these academic concepts, I'm good. You can show me that understanding any way you choose. That's tricky for kids when you first start incorporating a lot of choice. They freeze up if they're not used to it.
Yeah.
But
what happens is that it's almost like Stockholm syndrome.
Yes.
They hate writing essays, but I'll give them.
Don't know what else to do.
Give them two tech choices. Using my go-to ones. All right, I have a box full of toys over there. Go make a playtime video and demonstrate your understanding of our essential question, or create your own set of slides and screencast yourself explaining it. I don't want a bunch of bullets. I want a bunch of pictures, and you're going to tell me a story. Actually, what I'm starting tomorrow actually is a children's book. So I created a template and slides with with all their key vocabulary words about the American Revolution, and I said, all right, here you have all these links, all these notes on each vocabulary word and the overarching way of the topic. Now you need to condense each one into 2 or 3 sentences.
There you go.
Put them on a slide the way it would look like in a children's book, and you
Nice.
need to find a picture, and then you're going to screencast yourself
reading it.
And I go, if you do that, I'll give you a B. If you want an A, you got to put it on YouTube. But I still give them a lot of time. I'll give them an essay option, and I'm always surprised how many kids will choose the essay. It's like Stockholm syndrome. Like they just go back to it. They hate it, but they'll go back to it. It's odd how that happens.
Yeah. So actually, we're already on question 6.
Yes.
Can you believe it?
So Scott Nunes talks about he loves using choice boards.
Mm-hmm.
And he even shared here some of his a few documents on the choice boards that he uses.
I'm going to retweet that.
Yep. Uses Wakelet Flipgrid as well. Very good. Judy Blakeney from Orange County says that she needs to do a better job at this with choice boards and HyperDocs. HyperDocs is a good way to really give kids some choices.
I love Hyper Slides.
Yes.
So same concept, but in slides.
That's right.
So question 6 just dropped. Question 6 says, winter snow conditions often close the roads in Yosemite. What roadblocks? Oh, a grammatical error. I was doing this very quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm tired because it's the end of October. All of you educators are tired. Anyway, what roadblocks are there, so to speak, for learning, for your students' learning? What roadblocks do you experience? What I'm experiencing somewhere I've been at this week is testing. Yeah. Testing ruling. I don't want testing ruling everything around me.
Sounds like a Wu-Tang song.
Yeah. No Treem.
No Treem. Oh my God. Wow. That's hilarious. I love that.
Yeah. Also, well, there's so many. When we talked a little bit about, dumbing down rather than scaffolding up, that's a big roadblock.
So for me, it's language barrier, poverty, unstable home life, and too many school initiatives and assessments. Like they're assessed to death.
Yes. So they have initiative fatigue, as Michael Fullen says.
Yes, teachers and students alike. I think sometimes schools just have too many balls in the air. They're well-meaning, but
they are.
A lot of times I think we don't do like a few things really well. We
do
a lot of things, and it looks good, and the intent's right. It's there. That's what should be done. But I mean, when you get a lot of high turnover with teachers and staff, it's things come and go. So it's it's just the world we live in. Got to roll with the punches, but. Yeah, I mean, part of the most part is the language barriers, the poverty, unstable home life. That's the biggest thing. I don't think all those tests and things aren't the worst things in the world for them, but the other things are stuff that we have no control over, and that's a huge roadblock. That's the hardest thing to deal with because you can't control it. We're reacting to it.
I think we are not focusing on social emotional learning first, and so when we can't take care of those things, then there's a cognitive block. So if I've gone through trauma as a student, and then I'm coming to school and I have this cognitive block here, and no one taught me how to cope with that. No one taught me, I don't know any strategies. I don't have anyone to talk to about it. I think that's one of the big things too, we had a good little spiel the other day about that from our band teacher. Mr. Gaspar, and he was, we're having a similar discussion about, our RTI program and what can we do? What can we do? He's like, dude, he got up there very passionately, like, so I sent you guys out an email 2 weeks ago about social emotional learning, how important it is, and really passionately got everyone's attention. It was a great speech and needed to be heard. And he talks about something he does every day with his band kids. He goes, listen, we're going to take 3 minutes and we're going to meditate. And he actually walked us through some of his breathing exercises. Yeah. I remember doing this. Which is actually good for band anyway, because you're brass instrument and woodwind instruments. I remember doing this when I was in high school. Even percussionists, to be honest. In high school, I had a teacher who he once a week we would have us meditate. And I remember enjoying it. And I'm like, you know what? I need to bring that into my kids. He's like, I do it every day. And my kids, like, if I don't do it, they're on me. Yeah. But it's a couple of teachers have kind of followed his lead, and it's something that's simple. The cat just fell off the table. That cat only has 7 lives left. I'm so irritated with that dumb cat. So irritated. You guys hear the story about how the cat oh my goodness snuck into the broiler tray, and then I closed it not knowing the cat was there, and turned the oven on. We hear meowing with singed whiskers. That cat's lucky that I went to the living room to talk to Catherine and didn't go to the bathroom or go do laundry. And that I was here. That cat would have died. It. Curiosity could have killed that cat that time. Dumb cat. Anyway. Yes. Question 7 just dropped, and it says, field trips to Yosemite are valuable but may not fit within the school's budget. What resources do you bring to the use to bring the world to your students? I love all the Google Geo tools. There's a lot of Voyager. Have you explored the Voyager tours much, Adam? Yes. I'm not a little bit, not too much. They have some good ones, depending on they're growing all the time. They don't have, something for every grade level, every content area, but they are building all the time, and they've got some really good. They have some good ones about the explorers. Oh, but you don't do that. That's more middle school. Middle school talk about the explorers. That is, let me think here. I know they do it 4th grade or something, right? 7th grade. 7th grade. So they have a good one on there. They also have a good one on the American Revolution. actually. I think it was the American Revolution. I showed that to a middle school teacher the other day. So yeah, the Google Earth Voyager, it looks like a captain ship. So if you go to Google Earth, just earth.google.com, and on the left, there's like a menu bar on the left. It's a column, and then if you look for the little captain ship, that's called Voyager, and they have these pre-made tours. They have some great ones for literature as well, like Steinbeck, tours of like Steinbeck and Hemingway, places that he wrote from, and things that were inspired. I think, they have a Jack Kerouac tour on there as well. So all sorts of great stuff. So there's information, and the kids like it because it like zooms into Google Earth, and then they click the arrow and they read some things, and they click the arrow to go to the next one. So it zooms out and it zooms back in, and so they really like it. So yeah, I would definitely recommend the Google Earth Voyager tours for teachers that are like, I want to go to the next level. I don't want to do something where I actually create it. Then you could check out Google's Tour Creator and or Tour Builder. But those are both so new that there's not a lot of pre-made ones yet. So that's kind of unfortunate. But Google Earth Voyager, if you could find one that fits with your grade level and content area, that's golden. It's good stuff. So
it's an idea because we were working on RTI modeling a lot because we're we're a big Avid school, and one of the Avid tutorials are a great way for your RTI, getting kids to kind of take advantage or take responsibility over their own learning. So I had an idea about bringing the world to it. I tweeted about doing using Google Hangouts, and of course Daniel Rocha. I used our example that you just put right there about the school in the Bronx.
Oh, nice.
They ended up having to do FaceTime because the Wi-Fi wasn't working with Hangouts.
But it still worked.
But it worked, and
nice.
Having that cultural exchange that we had, like those kids in the Bronx could not believe, like, what, you guys get dropped off in cars and trucks and yards, and like our kids are like, what, you take the subway to school? Like it was, from middle schoolers to high schoolers, but just the cultural exchange within the same country was amazing. I just thought about it, about the whole Avid thing with the tutorials. I'm like, what if we were to do that across distances, like in Hangouts? So we can have a group of my kids.
Oh, interesting.
Be working with an Avid class, like in Minnesota or something.
There you go.
And they're doing their tutorial together.
Yeah.
I just thought right now. So I went into the Connected Classrooms group in Facebook. That's where if you want to ever connect your class with another class, doing a mystery hangout, mystery Skype, or just have a discussion with kids across the world, go join the Connected Classrooms Facebook group.
How many members are in there now? Says over there. Yeah, there's on the right. 425.
Where?
Over there.
Oh yeah.
So we got to keep spreading the word.
It had like hundreds of thousands of members in the Google Plus group.
Yes.
So that got shut down. So the Facebook group.
Google Plus got shut down, not the Connected Classroom Workshop.
So the Connected Classroom Workshop is now just Connected Classrooms Facebook group is what it's called. And you just go there and say, hey, I'm so-and-so from here. I want to do a mystery Skype or Hangout or whatever, and then you will get a response very quickly. I just dropped a message in there right now saying, hey, let's get a high school and middle school Avid class to do a Hangout so they can do like a virtual tutorial. I think that would be great. Being able to share their screens.
What's it called? Connected Classrooms? Did they put workshop? No, just Connected Classrooms.
Facebook group.
Nice. Yeah, it's a good one. All right. By the way, if you're joining us, if you missed the beginning of our session tonight, we are drinking what Tobin James calls their spaghetti wine, which is still quite good. Tobin James is in Paso Robles, and it's called Red. Yep. Still pretty good, especially for the price. So
pretty much everything at Tobin James is quality.
It is, even their table wine.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, you can tell a difference between this and say the Cashflow that we like.
Yeah, Cashflow is a little bit higher quality, but this is for the prices.
You can't beat it.
It's better than pretty much any house wine you're going to get like at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Is going to be this quality.
And here you're paying.
And you'll pay a lot more for whack wine.
You'll pay 3 times as much.
Yeah.
Yeah. My parents even bought a case.
Seriously, buying wine at a restaurant is a ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
Buying a bottle is probably. I think buying a bottle might be even worse.
It is. Then buying a.
We'll have like
Well, then worse than buying a glass.
It might be.
I don't
know. There's
know.
like a $12 bottle of wine that we can get at the store.
Right, that'll be
That's
30 bucks.
$45.
Yeah.
I don't like.
Well, we
I'm
know
not paying-
wine, so we know what those prices
I'm not
are.
paying $40 for a Pothic. There's that Pothic, that bourbon
Was it-
one.
That was
It
interesting.
was bourbon aged. Oh my god, that was good.
Normally, we don't like the Apothics,
Yeah, we're not big Pothic fans.
but that one actually was very good. You could taste the bourbon. It was really weird. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Question 8 just dropped, and
Okay.
it says Yosemite is best experienced outdoors. How do you engage students in learning activities outside the classroom walls? Oh, something I do almost daily. I'm doing that part.
I was at a middle school this week where there was a math teacher that took his entire class outside to do a bunch of measuring, and they were doing like how you have like you're trying to find, you're trying to find the angle of not the angle, like a triangle, like with a shadow, like here's the flagpole, and then there's a shadow, and then you're trying to find like the missing,
The
the height.
The hypotenuse.
Daniel will know what I'm talking about.
I don't
Anyway,
know. Daniel, Brian Springmeyer would know. I don't
middle
know. I don't know about Rocha,
middle
but Brian
school
Springmeyer
teacher.
would know.
And the cool thing was, like, it was real interesting because he said that these kids, like, were struggling even understanding how to measure with the measuring tape.
Mm-hmm.
But because they were doing it outside and they were, like, actually trying it, that showed him that they lacked that skill, right? And so he was able to, so I said, well, why don't you start talking about documenting what you observe from students, right? So I said, why don't you start taking some pictures of what the kids are doing so you can show examples of, and you can ask them, like, hey, what do you notice about this picture of this student?
There's Dylan.
There's Dylan. What do you wonder about this picture? So
There's Dylan.
Dylan is Adobe Premiere certified, and he hates when I say that.
Yeah. Dylan, smile.
Dylan got Dr. Pepper today.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah. With good ice.
Dylan used to always say Dr. Pepper as a joke. So now every time I go to a drive-thru and I order him a Dr. Pepper.
SOHCAHTOA, sine, cosine, right? Is that what we're talking about?
No, that's
SOHCAHTOA?
that Disney princess.
No. No. I'm being serious. Anyway, that's what they were doing. Brian knows. That's what they were doing.
See, I told you Brian would know, and Daniel
Yes,
didn't.
yes.
Daniel just,
And Daniel didn't.
Daniel's just too slow to type. Hey, Nick Gonzalez.
Look
is
at all
here.
these people
Oh,
joining
man,
in.
All these teachers.
Nick had an interesting school picture this year.
Oh yeah, he looked like Uncle Rico
I don't know who that is.
from Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh,
That's the look he was going for.
okay.
And there's Jackie. Jackie, I had a huge breakthrough with my screencasted read alouds in 7th grade ELA history. I think you're going to be interested in that. We could pump the brakes on Edu Protocols for a minute, and that's something you're going to want to ask me about next time you see me.
Well, it's a level up from Edu Protocols. What you're doing.
Well, it's not really a protocol because it's not something that's quick and easy like a protocol.
No,
It
but
can be-
it's impactful.
yeah,
and
it's
a level up.
It's a scaffold up for our
students.
struggling readers. That's what it
That's
is.
fair.
That's like it really wasn't meant to be a protocol.
Right.
It's too labor intensive to be a protocol, but it's
so
worth,
powerful.
It's worth the work.
Yeah. 8th grade standard. Okay, see, I knew it was middle school. I don't remember which grade level. Yeah.
I'm gonna be in his PLC next week.
Okay.
Yep, they invited me.
Nice.
Brian has been piloting a little bit of, whetting his appetite for some 360 math.
Oh,
ideas
good.
And feedback tokens
Nice.
and, a blended learning environment.
Oh, that's good.
We're going to put all that to kind of mesh that together because his PLC is interested.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Brian, I have a question for you. Do you still teach PIMDIS?
Please excuse
Because-
my dear Aunt Sally.
Because I know Ed Campos says that you do not teach PIMBIS anymore. And I, not knowing any better, when I taught 6th grade math, yes, I taught 6th grade math, but only for a semester because then I decided to But I did, my students still were 10% above district average, even though I didn't feel super confident about that. That's pretty good.
Yep.
You know what kids those were that like would not be expected as far as the demographics of that school compared to the district. Anyway, so I taught PEMDAS and then learned that we weren't supposed to teach PEMDAS, but then it was too late and I didn't know what I was supposed to teach instead. And I know that now it's gyms. Okay, I don't know what that is, but I will say this.
I do a sketch note in that for 6th grade.
Okay.
Yep.
Just recently, last week changed. Okay, but here's the problem. I have this district that is spending tons of money on this intervention curriculum for middle schoolers that like got D's or F's, like failed a class.
Okay.
And so they have to take this extra class and take away an elective to like try to get extra credit, even though it doesn't matter because they're going to pass them along to freshman year anyway, and the kids know that. So it's really stupid. But anyway.
How do you really feel?
But I digress. So the point is, I literally took a picture. I have the picture of one of the videos or one of the that is talking about PEMDAS. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what are we doing? We're spending all this money for something that's crap and isn't the way we're supposed to teach.
So their intervention program is about PEMDAS.
No, their intervention, it's even worse. It has PEMDAS in it. The bad part about the intervention program is there were kids, it's a 12-minute lesson. Each lesson's 12 minutes. You have to pass like the questions after watching the video in order to move on to the next lesson. It's supposed to be 12 minutes long. There are kids, it will not let you pass on. There are kids that have been on the same lesson for a month. Wow. They're in that classroom every day for 50 minutes. What the hell are they doing? What are they doing? I don't understand. Do you understand? What are you doing? And so they're getting bored because they're watching the same video again and again and again. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe, I don't know, people, not programs. Maybe we should try to like teach them because that one video isn't working. What do you think? Yeah. Do you think that would just, I mean, it sounds logical to me, but here's the other problem is that there's teachers that are not math teachers. It's like a credit recovery type course that one teacher one teacher teaches all the kids and the kids do it all on their own individually. So like one kid's maybe taking ELA makeup, one's doing math, one's doing science, one's doing whatever. So like the teachers themselves don't even know how to really support them because that's not their subject area. Yeah. So yeah, you're right, Brian. Failing is sadly what the students are seen to be doing. And I feel like, sadly, it's, the system is failing them even more. Now, I do believe that this was implemented with all very good intentions, but sadly, I don't believe it's working.
Interesting.
Very interesting. I thought about writing a blog post about it, but I haven't done it yet.
Okay.
Instead, my blog post my most recent one was going to be about, you talked about initiative fatigue. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about that, like avoid teacher overload. Don't give them 20 things to think about. Yeah. Give them 2. Mm-hmm. And then follow up. Oh, you did one of the 2. That's awesome. Let's try another one maybe. Oh, you're not ready to try another one? You want to refine what you learned before? Perfect. Let's work on that. I'm cool with that. Like as a coach, I'm happy if you take one thing and you run with it.
That's right.
If I give you 5 things and you try them and they just like, you do them one time and that's it, what was the point? Yeah. What was the point?
All right. Well, it's about that time.
All right.
It's been a fast and furious hour.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you guys again next week here on CB Tech Talk Live. Just so you know, if you've ever missed an episode of CB Tech Talk Live, they are now curated on cbtechtalk.org. If you go to the Get Connected tab, there'll be a CB Tech Talk Live Facebook or Facebook Live page where all these videos are now posted on YouTube. You can go back and see all of our wonderful faces and our banter and edgy trash talking.
But this is the only episode as of yet where you are wearing glasses.
That's right.
And they're not prescription. They're blue light glasses.
Yeah, and they make a difference. I've had prescription ones before that I broke. I figured I'll try these $20 version from Amazon. feels like the same.
I need to get some.
That may save me 10 years before I have to get real glasses. So anything to postpone it. Halloween.
They don't know what that means.
Some people watching might.